Up on the bench today, I've got this PowerMac G5. This was given to me by a coworker who took it out of service. He works in IT as well, and he knows that I like Power Macs and old Macs and just computers in general, so he said, "Hey, do you want this?" And I quote, "Mac Pro G5." I think he knows the difference. It had just been a long day, but I found that kind of humorous. Anyway, I know absolutely nothing about it other than it was in active use, meaning daily use, Monday through Friday, up until just 2 months ago. So this thing was in use until late 2019. That's amazing. I don't know what it was used for, but maybe we'll find out. I don't know if it has a hard drive or not. But I think that's kind of cool that it was... They definitely got their money's worth out of it, I'll tell you that much. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the outside, so front, back, nothing on the sides, and then we'll pull off the side panel, take a look on the inside, eventually fire it up and see what it's running, install an operating system on it. I don't know. We'll just go from here. So along the front of this thing, not much to speak of. The top handle is in nice shape. There's a little bit of scratching on the optical drive here, but nothing to write home about. And power button and the ports in pretty good shape. The foot's not dinged up on the bottom either, which is always nice to see. And along the back, the handle is in great shape as well on the back. It's got a video card in there. Looks like there's a little bit of like pitting on this card slot, and now that I look at it, this card slot doesn't, or the cover doesn't look the same as these other ones, so maybe this video card was swapped out or upgraded at some point in its life. I'm not really sure on that one. Standard assortment of ports, really nothing to write home about there. Somebody tried to take the asset tag off, and there's some scratching down here, like where they tried to pick at it. And I also tried to pick at it, but with my fingernail, and I couldn't get this thing off. So maybe some WD-40 is in order to try to get this thing off. Alright, now on to the exciting part, taking off the side panel and seeing what this thing has in store for us. Panel comes off nicely, which means it's not too dinged up. And there we go. At a first glance, it looks like it's in really good shape. A little bit of dust, but it looks like it was used in a dry environment. There's not a whole lot of pitting. Oh, now that I say that, there is a little bit of, yeah, a little bit of not pitting, but maybe corrosion. Not really sure what it's called on these Macs, but a little bit of that going on. This has my fingerprints on it, and that is it. So I don't know if this has ever been taken apart before. Has the original DVD drive in there. There's a pretty thick layer of dust up here. Hard drive has been removed. That's a little unfortunate. Thankfully, there are 4 additional screws that I can install a new hard drive with, but I do wish that was still present. That would have been nice to have a poke around with and see what this thing might have been used for in the past. Hopefully you'll bear with me in this video with the kind of poor lighting. I don't really have a good solution for looking inside of computers. But what we got here looks like the original graphics card. So I was saying just a moment ago about how this slot cover looked different than those two above it. Well, that's because it's part of the GPU backplate. So that makes sense. It's an NVIDIA GPU of some kind. I've forgotten what models of GPU went in these things. It's an NVIDIA card, I know that much, but I don't recall the model number. But there it is. Again, doesn't look like it's ever been taken out. This machine really looks like it's never been worked on, as far as I can tell, at least from all the dust. Maybe it was worked on before it became so dusty, but not recently. Not recently. I noticed right away when I took the cover off that this is a dual G5. That's kind of cool, which means we can, I don't know, there were lower end G5s, but we can probably do something with it if it's at least a dual G5. Let's take this fan assembly out, see what we got for RAM. There's 2 sticks in there right now. A little difficult to get out. This is a 512, and I'm going to assume that's a 512 as well. That's kind of unfortunate. It's only got a gig of RAM. I don't know what the maximum these can take is. I think it was 8, maybe 16, definitely not more than 16. So yeah, that's a bit of a bummer. I don't know how much RAM I have left that will work in one of these. Hopefully I have a little more than a gig. I'd like to bump it up to at least 2, just for screwing around with, but we'll see what happens there. Unfortunately, there's not a really quick way for me to take this off, so we're just going to have to see what it is later on in the video. So because this has no hard disk right now, and just because I can, I'm going to go ahead and throw in this 120 gig Samsung 840 EVO SSD. Had this around for quite a while, and I think an SSD in any computer at this point is really a necessary thing. There it is. There's the SATA cable. Okay. Things are kind of hard to get into when you have to hold on to the SSD. Okay, there we go. Okay, nothing blew up. That's good. So I got power, I got video, I got USBs. Guess that's all there really is to do. Moment of truth. Let's see if it works. Yes, it does. Sweet. Okay, fans went down. These are all good signs. And now we have video. Flashing question mark. Just what I expected. Cool. I really need to find myself a better way of capturing a display. Maybe I'll get a, I don't know, some kind of VGA capture device. But what I've got here is a totally legitimate copy, I don't know where I got it, of macOS 10.5 Server. I was originally going to just do Leopard 10.5, but I couldn't find my disk, so this is going to have to do. Now we need to open up the optical drive, but I don't have an eject button on this keyboard. Maybe I can open it up and... There we go. Haha. Take that, Steve Jobs. I used a button on an Apple computer. This thing has been getting increasingly louder as the boot process goes on. Let's see if I can get you a little closer here. I managed to find this. This is an official copy of macOS 10.5.6. It's for an iMac, but I'm thinking it might work anyway. macOS could not be installed on this computer. Well, damn, that's not great. I just remembered that I've got this. It's an external FireWire disk, and I used it to back up a couple things through Time Machine so that I'd have a backup, but I also used it to store a couple of pre-made disk images from Macs that I've, done the first time setup on, and then I captured an image so that I could just clone it to a disk later on and not have to go through the whole setup process. So let's see what I can find on this particular disk. I attached the disk and mounted it and all that fun stuff, And we can see I've got a couple images. Unfortunately, I don't have a leopard image, but I do have a tiger image. So this is a base install of 10.4. I don't know if it has updates or not. And I've created probably an owner account. This is the only thing I've got on here that will actually work. The iMac G3 is a macOS 9. These are not supported by PowerPC. So hopefully it will let us restore this to... I must have to partition it first. Hopefully it'll let us restore it to this internal disk. It's getting quite loud just restoring from a disk image, but it does look like it's working. Came back about 15 minutes later and everything's all finished. Quit disk utility. Disconnect my FireWire drive. And do we have a startup disk? Yes, we do. Hey, there it is. It sees it as a valid startup disk. Restart and restart. Look at that. Awesome. It boots. Looks like the PRAM battery is dead. That's expected. Get rid of this disk so it stops making noise. Cool. Well, that was a lot more simple than I expected it to be. Let's go to About This Mac, see what it is. So it's 10.4, unupdated. It's a dual 2.7. Is this liquid cooled? It has to be. It's a 2.7. Holy crap. I didn't expect that at all. Really? Okay, 1 gig of RAM, as we know. Yeah, PowerMac 7.3, that is indeed a 2.7 gigahertz liquid-cooled PowerMac G5. Wow, that's cool. The only thing that's in my mind right now is I took this out of work early in the morning because I have permission to take things, but I don't like doing it because then people look at me and I'm like, yes, I can be taking this computer out of my place of business. I left it in my car all day and I left it this side down. This is a side panel. I left it that side down all day in 20-degree Fahrenheit weather. Drove home, forgot about it until like 10 o'clock at night, and then I brought it in. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't try to turn it on last night. That would not have gone well. But that explains why it's so freaking loud, because it's a 2.7 gigahertz G5. Neat. Alright, we got 2 sticks of 512, so a gig of RAM. Graphics card is a GeForce 6800 GT, 256 meg. I'm not really familiar with the card as far as I know. I probably have used it before, but I can't really think of a time when I used it. There's display, serial ATA, there's my 120 gig SSD. We've got no airport card installed, and the DVD drive is a burner. Cool. So now that I know this is the 2.7 gigahertz model, and it's the highest clocked PowerMac of any kind, PowerMac G5 included. Not the most powerful probably because there was a quad G5, but whatever. I think we should try to run some games on here and see how it handles it. First, I'm going to readjust the time because I'm going to be grabbing all these off of my NAS, and I'm not sure what day is today. Today's the 17th. I'm not sure if it would like an incorrect time. Doesn't look like I have a key for Doom, but maybe it's just going to work anyway. I'm not really sure where I got this copy of Doom from. I did own it at one point, but yeah, I'm not sure. So it's copied. Maybe it'll just run? Oh. Well, that didn't run at all. Open? Well, this used to work. I seem to remember there being an issue with some other game or something I was trying in the past where, because I was running just version 10.4, the original release of Tiger, that it wouldn't work. So it needs 10.4.11 to be the most stable. Interestingly, I would expect it to work because it says system requirements 10.3.8 or later, but I do remember this being an issue, so let's just go ahead and download the updates. Anyway, back from rebooting, now we're running... Oh, I didn't know that was a thing you could do. Huh. Well, isn't that neat? We're running 10.4.11, try to launch Doom. Now it's going to ask for the Doom 3 disk. Well, thankfully, I do have the ISO right here. Got a nice, shiny, brand new DVD. Burn it. Cool. So, burn it to a disk, put the disk back in, and maybe, just maybe, this will work. Doom 3 registration code. Damn it. I had this somewhere and I don't know where it is. Okay, got it in time. I found my key. It was renamed, or it rather was never renamed to something that made sense. So, yeah, I found that and entered it, and here we are. Doom 3. Trying to get a good angle on the screen here, but it seems like nothing is ever a good angle when it comes to this camera. Alright, volume's a little low. That's just from the internal speaker. I won't have any save games, so let's start a game of Doom 3. See how it runs. I expect it to run pretty well. The graphics card that's in here is not a bad one. It exceeds the recommended graphics card for the game. CPU much exceeds it. It's a 2.7 gigahertz. The recommended is a 2.0. So we'll see how it handles it.
Welcome to Mars. All new arrivals need to check in at reception.
Hey, this isn't bad at all. This is a smooth... Well, not really a smooth, but it's over 30 FPS. That's doing pretty well. Alright, alright. I like this. I've never really played Doom before, so I don't know what I'm doing. I just remember I have to do something with the scan. It says stand on the thing, so I stand on the thing. Ah, there we go. Maybe we'll get into somewhere where I can, I don't know, shoot at something. Do we get to go in now? Yeah, we do. What are you? You're a thing. I can jump on you. I'm curious what the graphics are running at right now. What have we got? System, I think? Yeah, okay, 800 by 600, so it's not really that high, but it is at high quality. Let's see if we bump this up to Ultra, and then 1020 or 1280 by 1024, because that is the max res of this monitor. We'll have to restart the game for this. Alright, we are definitely below 30 FPS. It looks like we're going between about maybe 20 and a little over 30, depending on where I look. But it's still, I mean, it looks great, and the system doesn't seem to be taxed. It's probably just the graphics card that's having a little bit of trouble. There was a bit of stuttering right there. But really, I mean, it's not bad. Ooh, it does struggle a bit, doesn't it? And then there's a cutscene. So, alright, that is pretty freaking neat. It definitely struggles, but I think it's coping well, given the age of the system. So that's pretty neat. Once again, yeah, dual 2.7 gigahertz G5. Liquid cooled, that's neat. I'm glad it isn't, well, I'm afraid to look if it's leaking or not, but I'm glad it's at least working right now and seems to be cooling the system adequately. That is something I'm very thankful for. The last G5 that I owned, I guess the last two, the last one that I owned was, I think it was like a dual 2.0, but it was in immaculate condition. This one's in great shape too, I just need to do a little bit of dusting. But the last G5, what am I saying? The one before that was a dual 2.7 as well, liquid cooled, and it was also in great shape, but then I shipped it to somebody and they paid a ton of money in shipping, and I got it insured and everything, but when I got to them it was not working despite packaging it extremely well, and that machine ended up being completely dead and eventually turned into my PC case upstairs. So that was a bit unfortunate. And with that, I think the video is over. This has been a nice in-depth look at the dual 2.7 gigahertz liquid-cooled PowerMac G5. I totally didn't expect it to be as interesting as it was. I thought it was going to be some, 1.8 gigahertz single core thing, but no, it is not the best one, but it is right up there with one of the more desirable PowerMac G5s that you can get, and in working condition, no less. So I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed taking a look at this PowerMac G5 as much as I did. I've been trying out some new style of video making, a little more edited, and trying out some new lighting techniques down here. They don't always seem to work out. In fact, the one lamp I was using burned out halfway through me recording, so some of the video was a little more nicely lit than other parts of it. But, this isn't a professional channel, and it's never going to be, and that's okay. I don't want it to be. I just want to do a little more than simply pointing the camera at something and talking as I'm doing right now. And I hope you all will let me know if I'm doing a good job or a bad job. Seems like at least the past couple videos have received a little more viewership and some more subscriptions than past videos, which is very nice. That's probably due in part to my titling and making thumbnails for the videos, but also it's just a higher quality video in my opinion. But I do this for my own entertainment, really. I enjoy making videos. I enjoy taking a look at these old machines and seeing what they can do. And I assume that there's so many about, what am I trying to say? There are a lot of you out there who think the same, and that's of course why you're watching. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you especially for making it this far. And I've got a lot more videos planned. I've got a Mac Pro down here. I've got this. I could probably make a couple more videos on. I got some more free PCs to take a look at, and I've got the Xserve, which who knows what I'll do with that. People gave me suggestions. Yeah. Alright, before I keep rambling on, I'm going to end it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them below, and we'll see you in the next video.